So, D-Man, we begin with the Browns, and the Browns at home, 10.5-point favorites over the Miami-Dolphins. Played pretty well, all things considered. Thursday night, kind of overshadowed by all that nonsense. But who are you picking? Who do you like in this one?
Imagine that, Dave, a 4-6 team that's 10.5-point favorites. I'm going with the Browns. Yes, I'm drinking Kool-Aid, the orange and brown Kool-Aid to a degree. 10.5 is a big number, regardless, especially so for a team that's 4-6 and has had so many issues. But the Dolphins are the opponent. The Dolphins just got done giving up 30-something to the Bills at home. I know the Browns are going to be depleted defensively, both by injury and suspension. But I'm looking at the quintet of Beckham, Landry, Mayfield, Chubb, and Hunt as being enough to put up somewhere in the 30s, maybe even 40 points against that porous Dolphins defense, and that's why I'm okay laying the 10.5.
I'm not necessarily arguing with anything you said, but I'm looking at this as the Browns aren't really talented enough to have their attention divided and giving that big number. I'm going to go with the Dolphins getting 10.5, mostly because this is a game the Browns should win by a lot, and I don't know that they're at the point where they need to be, where they cover a big number in a game they should win and should, handily do it. The defensive side of things scares me, as does Fitzpatrick. You just never know, kind of. I foresee a couple of big plays. They're banged up all over the place defensively, and I think it's probably a reasonably high-scoring game, and I just don't think the Browns, I don't think they cover the 10.5. So you and I disagree there. Last couple weeks when we've done that, it hadn't gone well for me, but I'm sticking with the Dolphins getting
I
the 10.5.
can certainly see you winning this one. I'm not necessarily comfortable with the Cleveland Browns in their current state laying 10.5 to anybody.
Another game that we're going to both pick is the Cowboys, 6.5-point underdogs. They are on the road against the New England Patriots. So the Patriots, 6.5-point favorites at home in Foxborough against the Cowboys. Who do you like in this one?
I like the Patriots convincingly in this, not just to cover, but to cover with style points. They're playing really good defense. That's well documented. But I thought a very important situation occurred coming out of this past week where Tom Brady said the offense isn't where it needs to be. And that typically when there's any sort of question about the Patriots or any sort of doubting about the Patriots, even from within their building, they come out the next game and they show the doubters, hey, look, we really are good. So I think maybe Brady was motivating himself and his offense to play better. I think they come out and play well and support that already really good defense. And Dallas, to me, especially when they go on the road, somewhat of a poser. So I've got the Patriots minus the points.
I'm going to stay with that one. I'm going to flip, and I'm going to take the Cowboys plus 6.5 at the Patriots. Thought behind this is the Patriots struggle in the run game. We saw that not only with the Ravens, but with Nick Chubb. The Browns kind of ran wild. He doesn't fumble on that long run. Who knows how that game turns out? The Ravens ran all over him. I expect Ezekiel Elliott to have a big game, a really big game with the Cowboys' offensive line. I think the Patriots win, but I think it's pretty close. I think it's 2-3 points. So I'm going against you again and again. Hasn't worked out very often for me, but I'm taking Cowboys 6.5 in New England. Another one you like is you like the Eagles. So tell me a little bit about your thought with the Eagles.
Yeah, the Eagles have been up and down this season, while their opponent, the Seahawks, have been really, really good. And the Seahawks, we know, with Russell Wilson, travel well. However, this to me is a case of one team, the Seahawks, wanting to win, the other team, the Eagles, desperately needing to win. The Eagles at 5-5. in my opinion, they have to save their season on Sunday against the Seahawks. They're at home. The number is essentially a pick 'em. So I'm going to go with the desperate team over the team that I didn't say the Seahawks would say they could afford to lose, but the desperate team is the home team that has some talent, that has underachieved to 5-5. So I'm looking for the Eagles to rise up, and even if it's a field goal, I'm still a winner.
And the last one that we'll look at, the Titans. You like the Titans? Tell me the thought behind that.
Yeah, the Titans is always a dangerous play. They're crazy up and down. It looks like they're headed to yet another 9-7 because they're sitting 5-5. It's like Mike Vrabel's 9-7 crew. Somehow, some way, they find a way to get there. Famously started the season by blowing out the Browns, but then they've been all over the map since. The Jaguars, they got Foles back. They didn't look good last week against Indy. The Titans are kind of an ornery bunch. Even when they're not playing well, their defense is decent. So I like them at home in this case, as long as the spread is not more than 3. And in this case, it isn't. Because anything over 3 with the Titans, you have no idea what they're going to do. But at least with 3, I can feel like I'm going to win on a field goal.
Well, Jeff Fisher was famously 9-7 there. Now it's Mike Vrabel.
That franchise
doesn't seem like whoever.
9-7.
9-7. Yeah, you know what? Here in Cleveland, we'd take 9-7 for a couple of years based on what we've been through. I like the Raiders, -2.5 at the Jets. Raiders have played pretty well in the early going. Carr's been really good. Josh Jacobs, running back, is good. And the Jets just aren't very good. Sam Darnold is really up and down. I like the Raiders -2.5 at the Jets. And then the other one that I like is I like the San Francisco 49ers, who, if you've listened to me, I was down on them early. I've been convinced. I've been won over by Kyle Shanahan's group. I like them -3 against the Packers. Packers have to go out west to play the 49ers. Traveling out there, never a good thing. So I like the 49ers. Jimmy Garoppolo has started to play pretty well. And I like Kyle Shanahan's offense there. So I'm going to go with the 49ers -3 hosting the Packers.
When I saw your picks pre-show, I was wishing I could swap out the Titans for that Niners pick, because I love the Niners in that spot. The previous time the Packers went out west, they were trucked by the hideous Phil Rivers and the Chargers. So I could see the Niners winning that game convincingly, actually.
Well, we'll see how we do. I still have a couple games to go to try to catch the D-man as he's out to a lead. I'm slightly under 500, but I'll get him before the end of the year.
It's a showdown week because we're opposed on all
2
4.
of them, yeah. And we had 2 head-to-head, which last time that's how you opened up the lead. You beat me 2 head-to-head, and now I'm trying to recover.